If you do not want to run the risk of becoming the next recruit to Satan's army, you can leave.
Hello there, good afternoon. You're watching ABC News. This is ABC Midday. I am Eric Trinibwatmelo. Coming up in the headlines. Now, the big question hanging in the minds of Ghanaians is whether Speaker Gbagben will respect the rule of law and yield to recall Parliament and the stay of execution by the Supreme Court. We will hear from experts soon. Later, local online transportation app is being launched, and we will go there with drivers also for more details. Still to come in the bulletin, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, is set to have a conversation tonight. We will be engaging the manifesto committee members on this as well. And later in business, in order to enable effective regulations and transition of trade, President Akufo-Addo also has assented to Shippers Authority Act. We will bring you more on that. Later on the international front, a U.S. election billionaire Elon Musk has been ordered for a hearing in the prosecutor's lawsuit. Stay with us. We have details of these and more coming up shortly. To the program. The news is streaming live on YouTube, ABC News GH. Do well to follow us. Let's begin with our top story, where the office of the Speaker of Parliament is working towards the recall of the House in early November. This follows the petition of the New Patriotic Party NPP caucus of the House to the Speaker to reconvene the meeting to consider urgent matters before it. Speaker Alban Sumana Kingsford Gbagben told a 5-member delegation of the Council of State, led by the chairman Nana Otuo Serebour II, that his office had already started processes to recall the House. The delegation had paid a courtesy call on the Speaker to ascertain first-hand happenings in the legislature in recent times, resulting in the adjournment of the House indefinitely. A statement issued by the Parliamentary Service said, after a long deliberation, members of the Council assured the Speaker of their preparedness to assist him and the leadership of the House to resolve whether impasse there may be to pave the way for a recall of the House. He also assured the delegation of his commitment to the development of the country's democracy and its people. Meanwhile, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Gbagben, is leading a Ghanaian delegation to Australia for the 67th conference of the CPA International in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. The Ghanaian delegation is made up of the former Majority Leader and Member of Parliament for Suame Oseche Mensah Bonsu, the 2 leaders of the House, 2 whips, the Clerk of Parliament and other officials of the Parliamentary Service. Away from that, let's move to the Supreme Court, where renowned governance expert Professor Agyemang Duah has criticized the common perception that Ghana's parliament operates with full independence, asserting that this view is fundamentally flawed. His comment comes after the Supreme Court of Ghana dismissed an application by Speaker of Parliament Alban Gbagben, who sought to reverse a previous ruling that blocked his declaration of 4 parliamentary seats as vacant. Speaker Gbagben's application aimed to nullify the Supreme Court's decision that temporarily halted his ruling on the 4 seats, arguing that the court has overreached by suspending his ruling, which he insisted was a parliamentary decision outside the judicial remit. Speaking on ABC in the morning, the governance expert clarified that the role of the judiciary in this case was to ensure constitutional conformity rather than to undermine parliamentary authority. He further emphasized that Parliament operates within constitutional checks and balances, contrary to the widespread notion that it wields absolute independence.
So we have to wait to see the final verdict. But what I think is at stake here is whether these 2 very critical institutions of governance will come to some understanding. Look, those who think that the parliament is independent and can do its own thing is absolutely wrong, in my view, as a governance person. The division of power, call it balance of power, with the checks and balances amongst the three branches of government, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, tells us, and rightly so, that these are three independent institutions that each has a right to check and balance power among themselves. In other words, court. So we have to wait to see the final verdict.
Meanwhile, Professor Ajimandua further enumerated the critical need for consensus building among the involved parties after the Supreme Court's rejection of an application by the Speaker to overturn its ruling that blocked his declaration of 4 parliamentary seats as vacant. Professor Ajimandua highlighted that reaching a consensus is now imperative for the stability and effective functioning of the country's democratic institution. This follows an announcement by Speaker Bagbin that arrangements are being made to reconvene Parliament in early November.
Compromising or building a consensus is the most sensible thing to do in this situation. At the same time also, we have to know that this particular case is a very good test for our constitution, and also we are testing the resilience of the relationship that will exist between the three arms of government. In this case, 2, between the Speaker, Parliament rather, and the judiciary. So the idea of a dialogue and compromise is to find a way to settle this matter peacefully so that we don't disrupt.
Still on some legal matters, legal experts Yao Danko has characterized the Supreme Court's recent decision to dismiss the Speaker of Parliament's application, challenging its ruling as one which is well placed. Danko praised the court's ruling, emphasizing that it aligns with the legal principles and the boundaries of the judiciary's oversight. Speaker Bagbin's application amid to nullify the Supreme Court's decision that temporarily halted his ruling on the 4 seats, arguing that the court had overreached by suspending his ruling, which is insisted was a parliamentary decision outside the judicial remit. However, the Supreme Court dismissed the application, stating that the Speaker's appeal was without merit.
And also we saw, what do you call it, checks and balances at work. And in fact, as a matter, their deliberation, I think they did so well in terms of, the interpretation of the law and the clarity that they provided. And as a legal practitioner and academician, I will say that this was a legal gymnastics at work, which was perfect, and it was flawless in their decision. That's my opinion.
Remaining.
And also we saw, what do you call it, checks and balances at work. And in fact, as a matter, their deliberation, I think they did so well in terms of, the interpretation of the law and the clarity that they provided. And as a legal...
Meanwhile, legal expert Yao Dankwa explained that the decision by the Supreme Court to dismiss the objection to the empanelment of Justice Ernest Jau on the bench was due to insufficient evidence. Lawyer for the Speaker, Thaddeus Sorin, contended that Justice Jau's prior political ties posed a conflict of interest and therefore asked Justice Jau to recuse himself. However, this objection was dismissed by the Supreme Court as they argued that recusing a judge is on such grounds will not advance the administration of justice.
Strong enough. I think you have to have more. Just that assertion alone is not enough. There should have been other further evidence adduced to show that no matter what happens, this justice will not be fair. But I don't think they were able to demonstrate that. And let me just conclude by saying this, that the 4 peoples and subject matter of the Supreme Court constituting yesterday, the MPs, what is happening to them? They belong to a party, but they've declared their intention to go independent. That means that they are falling out of love with their party. So if somebody has contested before, doesn't mean that the person is, is still with the party, or the person cannot disagree with with the party. So
let's have a conversation on the back of this matter, and helping us or joining us to have more conversation on this is the Communications Officer of the Parliamentary Network Africa, Mr. Clement Akolo. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for joining us. Now, we want to find out from you, how do you envisage the question of the Speaker's appeal yesterday to play out in Parliament?
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Actually, what we see is that the Constitution is playing out. What has to be done has been done. The Supreme Court has spoken, and we believe that it's also part of the ways to resolve the situation, because these institutions of states are there to play a particular role when we have disputes like this. And the Supreme Court has spoken. We believe that the lawyers for Mr. Speaker and Parliament are also doing their part, and we are hoping that at the long run we will all have the understanding that we are all looking for. So we are looking for the next action that will be taken by Parliament in response to what has been done, so that we see our way clearly forward.
Mr. Clement, now some NDC MPs also do insist that they are still in the majority. Now, what should be done to avert further escalations of tensions in the House should it convene?
Right now, that particular answer has become a bit difficult, because if you listen to the response by Mr. Speaker, he is actually also rejecting the stance by the Supreme Court. And as things stand now, it appears that the NDC is actually sticking to the Speaker's stand from the declaration that he made on the floor of Parliament. Now the other side is also looking forward to the Supreme Court and the case that they are actually supposed to pronounce on. So as we speak, when the House is even recalled, we are not too sure what their positions should be. But if we should go by the Supreme Court decision, who yesterday, when you listen to their pronouncement on this particular issue, their standpoint is that the hands of the Speaker still remains stayed, which means that the status quo must remain, where the four who were expelled or were pronounced to be expelled from the House are supposed to be understood to be still in the House until the determination of that particular case is done. So now we are all in a limbo, not really sure about how the situation should actually pan out. So we are also still looking up to what will eventually happen when this case is actually exhausted.
Mr. Clement, just as you said that we are in limbo, I just also want to find out from you, there also have been some calls of consensus buildings and, conversations between the two caucuses. From where you sit as a body, what do you also think about these ideas that most people have suggested?
So what we see, fortunately, yesterday we heard that the Council of State had some conversation with Mr. Speaker on some of these issues. Just that we didn't know what the conclusions were, but we have heard that the Council of State said that they are there to support Mr. Speaker in safeguarding the democracy that we have. We don't exactly know what that means, but Mr. Speaker has also given indication that he is preparing to recall the House, or be it that it will not be immediately because he has an important assignment to undertake, which will end, I think, after 8th of November or something like that. So it means that we will be looking at parliamentary sitting somewhere after the 8th or even before the 8th. And we are hoping that, given the time that is left, all these conundrum or all this situation that we are having, when the Supreme Court is able to come out with the interpretation before that time, then we will have the road cleared before they actually come to sit. Otherwise, if the status quo remain, we'll still have this uncertainty that we had before the House was actually adjourned indefinitely.
Mr. Clement, finally, let me find out from you. In fact, you've been in Parliament for a very long time. Going forward, let me just ask, do you even envisage that any of these two caucuses could compromise for peace to reign in Parliament and gearing up to the elections as well?
So I think they have no choice. And I'll once again call on the NPP caucus, because they are the governing party. And I believe that they have a lot at stake in Parliament. I think that they have to extend the olive branch and try as much as possible to reach out beyond the legal issues that are going out. Reach out, find a way to get this consensus building on board with the minority side as well as the speaker's side. I think that the legal issues that we are dealing with, and then the pronouncement and the body language of all of them is not helping the situation. I think that we should use other ways than the legal issues that we are involving ourselves in, and then get that discussion with Mr. Speaker as well as the minority side, so that we find a way out. I think that this political grandstanding will not actually help the situation, no matter how we go and come. And I'll call on the, should I say, majority or the governing NPP caucus in Parliament to do the reaching out to arrive at a situation where we can have peace going forward. Because if you look at it, it is the governing party that has a lot at stake, that has a lot to be done in Parliament. The minority side or the NDC caucus side doesn't have much to at stake or much to lose when it comes to the standoff that is actually ongoing right now. So I think that the ball is actually in the court of the governing NPP caucus in Parliament.
Mr. Clement, thank you so much for having the conversations with that on this. And that was Communications Officer of the Parliamentary Network Africa, Clement Akolo, speaking to us on that issue. Away from that, let's do some more stories where Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has officially launched Go Ride, Ghana's first locally developed ride-hailing mobile application. Created through a partnership with the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Go Ride is designed to empower Ghana taxi drivers who have faced increasing competition from foreign-owned digital transportation platforms. The launch event held in Accra yesterday highlighted the app's mission to support local drivers by offering fairer conditions and a sustainable alternative to international ride-hailing services. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia emphasized that Go Ride is part of a larger governmental strategy to empower local businesses.
In perspective, because sometimes people don't quite get what we are doing. Say, oh, Vice President is launching an app. It's sort of like an app. What has that got to do with the economy? Then you look at a company like Uber, which is an app for ride hailing, right? What is the value of Uber? I checked yesterday the most recent value for Uber, this app. That is $163 billion. $163 billion US dollars. That's the value of Uber. What is Ghana's total GDP, the total value of our economy? Ghana. What is Ghana? $75 billion. The total value of Ghana's economy, $75 billion US dollars. Uber, one company, has a value of $163 billion. Twice the whole of Ghana's economy. From one app, they've built a value of $163 billion. And you still don't, in this fourth industrial revolution, you must understand the link between digitalization and the economy. One app is generating a value.
Meanwhile, Deputy Transport Minister Hassan Tampoli has stated that there is no justification for increasing transport fares amid discussions among some transport unions, including the Concerned Drivers Association, about a potential price hike. Speaking at a launch of the Go Ride app, Tampoli addressed these concerns, emphasizing that current conditions indicate a possible reduction in transport fares rather than an increase.
We've heard some noises coming from drivers' union about the threatened increase in lorry fares. I want to say here unequivocally that there's no basis for any such increase in lorry fares between now and the next 6 months. The leadership are here and they know what we do, the triggers that would arise in increase lorry fares. Nothing of that sort has happened. And indeed, as at this morning, Ghana is one of 9 countries that have prices of petrol below $1. And in West Africa, we have only 3 countries out of the 15 countries. Needless to say, Nigeria will be there, Liberia, and the next country is Ghana. So the prices that we have in Ghana is one of the lowest anywhere in the world. We are rivaling countries like Egypt, Tunisia, Libya, Angola, Sudan. All of these countries are major oil producing countries. So there can't be any basis for any increment in lorry fare. As a matter of fact, there should be even reduction in lorry fares. So let this message go out to the drivers' union that are threatening any increase in lorry fare. His Excellency the Vice President has said that lorry fares would definitely go down if we are able to bring down the price of petroleum product below $1. And currently we are...
Well, we're trying to engage the PRO for the GPRTU, Abbas Imor, to have a conversation on this particular topic, but we're seeming to have some challenges with the networks. But we will engage him as and when he's back on the line. Away from that, let's do some politic news. And as Ghana prepares for its presidential election, the debate over economic policies has taken center stage. On recent campaign tours by the 2 major political leaders, NPP and NDC, both teams have thrown tantrums in an exchange of words and policy challenges, with supporters championing a debate. Speaking on ABC in the morning on the back of a possible debate between John Mahama and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, political scientist Dr. Jonathan Asante Autry says the 2 parties must focus on sticking to realistic issues that seek to solve the pertinent issues of Ghanaians rather than engaging in unnecessary debates.
They may throw the voters into what I call an arena of disarray, because if we allow this to continue to happen, it will mean that they will not be able to engage the citizenry as to what policy proposition and the direction they have for us. And so it will be about throwing of questions and the other responding. And that will not afford us the opportunity to scrutinize the policies they want to bring. And so, for instance, if they are talking about the economy, what are the specificity or the realities that the good people are facing as far as the economy is concerned? And so, if they are responding to themselves, I ask that, are they responding to the Ghanaian people? That will be a no answer. And so, I expect that they should rather speak to the issues and engage the Ghanaian public, and not to be throwing questions and counter questions, up there. That is not what we want. Will the debate provide any solution to our current predicament? They should be realistic and get us bold solutions, realistic solutions that will solve our problem. The debate can be used for these debate classes and whatever they call themselves. And at the end of the day, what is the debate really contributing to our success and our growth as a country? And who are we debating to? To the Ghanaian people? And how many of them are interested in this debate? If they should mount a platform to debate, will my grandmother and my aunties who are in the village participate? Would they be able to understand the angles and directions they are coming from on that debate platform? Would the debate afford them the opportunity to tell us their plans, their programs, their policies? It is just going to be countering and counter-reacting.
Let's go back to our earlier story, as we do have Abbas Imoro, the PRO for GPRTU on the line. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Thanks for joining us. Now, the GPRTU has partnered with government on this app development. How different would this be from the already existing one that we know?
Yes, and this will help the original taxi operators. Currently, they are not benefiting from this, like the Yango, Uber, Tango, the system they are using, the online system. But with this, we've also joined SAME, and our charges are quite moderate compared to other online charges. And the driver also benefits more on this than any of the online drivers. When you just go to Go Driver Ghana, the app will come in. It will come in two different questions. Are you registering as a driver or a passenger? If a driver, you will choose as a driver, and they will ask some few questions like your license number. You have to put your license on it, your telephone number, your Ghana card number, some few questions. Then later it will accept you as a registered driver on the app. If you want to use as a passenger also, about 3 questions or so. If you answer, you will be accepted also as a member who could use the app to call for any services. Meanwhile, this has some benefits for the drivers. The charges are not like the other online drivers, which could give you more passengers, and you have more benefits from this than any other online charges. So these are some few benefits that one could get. This, you take more money as a driver. You even have another 1% as your personal welfare, which none of the online drivers are using. So this has come to stay. It is up to us to make sure the public will understand it better, to patronize it better than anyone could expect.
Mr. Imoro, in terms of revenue generation for drivers, how will this app address the fundamental issues to ensure that drivers are appropriately compensated?
Come again?
Yeah, I was trying to find out from you that in terms of revenue generation for drivers, how will this app address the fundamental issues for drivers to be appropriately compensated?
Oh, yes. Any driver who wants to join already knows of some of these online drivers the companies, the percentages they take from the drivers. So anyway, challenge any driver to find out for himself, and he could see that with this go ride is quite beneficial than any other electronic hail ride system in the country. So they themselves could find out for themselves, and they could see that there are a lot of benefits on this than any other.
Now, the Deputy Transport Minister at the launch indicated that drivers have no reason to increase fares in the wake of recent upward adjustment in fuel prices. Should Ghanaians anticipate further changes in fares?
The way he presented it shouldn't have been the way he should present it. Yes, some of our colleagues has come out that effective from 2nd November, they are coming up with upward adjustment in lorry fares. We ask the general public to discard that announcement. We are working on a system, a laid-down system which we use it, and they should not come up with that. In any case, I don't think the law allows any transport operator to come up with any percentage he or she deemed necessary. If we allow that, then meaning the country is without laws or laid down regulations. You say you can register as a transport operator. You could work within the 16 regions. Maybe you are working within one of the regions. Even one of the regions, you are not working within all that region, but just maybe one station out of the whole lot. And if you come up to say, come 2nd November, drivers should increase lorry fares, I don't think you yourself have treated them on the right way. We have our process. The process, yes, all the components we use in running transport has gone up, but we have to do it properly. As we've been doing, we have to gather all these items which have gone up, the prices. After doing all this, we have to sit down with the transport ministry, who also standing for the general public, the passengers. In most cases, at times, some of these meetings, the minister himself will pay the rest to slash our percentage down with a reasonable excuse, of which we've been considering. For instance, the last time we came up with an upward adjustment, the transport ministry pleaded the verse that yes, they've seen the percentage we want to come up with. But we should also consider workers' salary has never been adjusted upwards. So if we do bring the percentage that we want to bring, it will also affect the general public, who are our relatives also as well. So we have to consider and slash something out of what we had originally wanted to present. So these are some of the things that we go through before finally coming out with an announcement that effective from this day, we are going to come up with an upward adjustment of this percentage. And we also announce all drivers to make sure they publish it in their cars by placing the new
Mr. Bass, how soon are we supposed to be expecting this announcement?
We are working on it, and we will come out as we've been doing all the time. So the general public should also exercise patience and wait till we go through the process. We just don't come out one day and say tomorrow we are increasing lorry fares, which we know definitely it will never bring peace to our drivers and to the passengers as well.
Thank you so much for engaging with us. He is the PRO for the GPRTU, Abbas Imoro, who has been speaking to us on the back of this new hailing the app. Away from that, let's do some more politics, where the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is set to engage the country on good governance and the economy later today. In a recent post on social media, the former president indicated that he will be laying down NDC's plan to reset the country and provide good and accountable governance. The post reads, quoting, "Later tonight at 6 p.m., I will be speaking to Ghanaians about the National Democratic Congress plan to reset Ghana for good governance and accountability. I believe very strongly that the governance of our dear country Ghana is at a crossroad, with injustice eating our society away as economy inflict untold hardship on the millions of suffering Ghanaians. Tonight's governance forum is an opportunity to highlight our initiative to enhance accountability." And we establishing, well, she is on the line. Joining us to have a conversation is the deputy spokesperson for Mr. Mahama, who is the flag bearer of the NPP. Good afternoon, Madam Beatrice Annan.
Please, my name is Beatrice Annan, and I speak for the campaign of John Mahama, not the MPP or Dr. Baumia.
Well, I didn't say that, but that's okay. I mean, I introduced you as deputy spokesperson initially for the campaign team of Mahama, but that's fine. Thanks for the correction. Now, let's actually come back to the substantive issue. What is today's conversation about, considering that you have held similar, in weeks gone by?
That's true. We think that we are at a point in the history of our country where every state institution has been politicized, and the gains we have made since the Fourth Republic has been eroded by this government. Today, we are having the judiciary being just staffed with members of the MPP who contested elections on the ticket of the MPP. You have communicators of the MPP being members of the Electoral Commission. You have practically every, state institution being eroded. And so in order for us to build a robust country that Ghana was known for before the Fourth Republic, it is important that we begin to have new conversations about governance and what the NDC will do materially different to make sure that we restore confidence in the state institution and our most cherished democracy. And so today we'll be holding a forum interacting with civil society and many other well-meaning Ghanaians who want to see the progress of Ghana. We'll be talking about why in the next NDC administration we don't believe that politically exposed persons should just acquire state properties because they became politicians, like we experienced in the case of Mr. Brian Champon some few months ago. We'll also be talking about why politicians and politically exposed persons and families, agents, and assigns of politicians should not be made to benefit from government scholarship to the detriment of the ordinary Ghanaian, because that is one of the policies that the NDC intends to implement so that we can strengthen our institutions. We'll be talking about why in times like this it will be unconscionable to continue to have an excess of 100 ministers of state. And so President Mahama has promised to run the leanest government with 30 ministers and 30 deputy ministers.
Beatrice, let me just ask you this. In August, you launched your manifesto. I mean, after that, there have been series of, engagements between the youth caucuses and within the NDC, also bringing up a lot of initiatives. Didn't you guys factor all of this in your manifesto and other policies?
Yes, I think that these engagements are sequel to our launch of the manifesto, where we try to engage the relevant stakeholders in each sector. So if you would recall, we did one on energy, where we met people in the energy industry, and then we had to explain to them our policies, because we believe that never in the history of our country have we, made such mess of our country. And so it's important that we diversify and we engage more, and we re-engage and keep engaging the citizens and stakeholders to get their inputs about how the next NDC administration should form government. And we're not just engaging the CSOs. Just last week, President Mahama met about 25 members of the diplomatic community and the international business community. Yesterday, we had another meeting with them. So you can see that the NDC, much as we are campaigning, we are also putting in place structures to help us govern in record time. And that is why I want to tell each and every person listening to me that President Mahama is the right person, because he has the requisite experience to hit the grounds running. He has said that as part of the governance reform,
Beatrice, I'm afraid we don't have enough time to.
We know
you're actually going to have a conversation, in fact, a forum on this this evening. But I just want to find out from you quickly: will Mahama be addressing about Mia's 50 questions or adding more to it?
No, I think that President Mahama will not waste his time to answer those 50 questions. Some of the questions are very repetitive. And secondly, President Mahama was the first to ask him questions. So if Dr. Bawumia answers those questions, then President Mahama will reply those 50 questions. The track record is there.
There also have been a debate that your flag bearer is evading a debate, but also turning around to ask the same questions you were saying.
No, he's not evading a debate. My flag bearer has subjected himself to a lot of debates in the past.
But Beatrice, wouldn't a debate provide a platform for the interrogations?
No. Ordinarily, debates would have provided a platform. But we think that politics of principle should matter. In 2020, Dr. Bawumia told President Mahama that it was not relevant to debate, and that if there were anything he wanted to say to the Ghanaian people through debate, he should debate the church drivers, he should go to the market and debate the market women. I think that Dr. Bawumia must be telling us what has changed over the past 4 years, that he badly needs to debate President Mahama. If he's able to come, out with a convincing explanation, why not? The NDC is open to, engaging serious people. But we think that politics of principle must matter. And it's the reason why he gets away with so many things, because principles don't matter. They say anything, anytime, just because we want votes. And I think that we want to elevate the discussion. And President Mahama has said time and again that the NDC will not dignify him with a debate.
Okay, we're grateful so much for your time. Deputy spokesperson for the Mahama campaign, Beatrice Annan, speaking to us.
Thank you very much
over there. We appreciate your time. Away from that, let's still do some more politics, where the running mate of the new Patriotic Party, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has said that the issuance of mining license will be decentralized, and dedicated bank will be established to support individuals who lack the financial means to engage in mining. Well, we will bring you that soon. Away from politics, let's do some education news. We're following the announcement of placement for graduate of the 2024 Basic Education Certificate Examination BEC into senior high school and technical vocational education and training, that's the TVET, by the Ghana Education Service. Scores of parents and their ward with varying concerns needing immediate attention have trooped the Ghana National Association of Teachers Hall in Accra to apply for placement for the awards into second cycle institutions. Parents have raised concerns of having their awards not placed in the selected choices of schools. According to this statement by the Ministry of Education dated October 28, out of the 563,339 results received from the West African Examination Council, a total of 553,155 candidates qualified for placement, and a total of 447,698 candidates, making up 80.93% of the qualified group, were automatically placed into one of their selected school choices.
All in Accra, where many parents and their wards are gathered for placements into second cycle institutions following the release of BEC results and the release of schools, second cycle schools for these wards.
To change a placement for my niece. She had a school, but she lives in Ashaiman, and then she was placed at Nsanwom. So we came to, as a day student, so I came to do the changes.
For the grade, it was very good. It was very good. So I didn't know I don't know whether it is a mistake or a yes.
My wards were placed, however, the distance to their schools is far. This will make attending PTA meetings a difficulty.
Many parents are here because they are not satisfied with the schools their wards were placed in. For some, they did not receive any placement and have come here so that their issues can be sorted out.
I just spoke to the lady at the table there, and she assured me that the placement as it is now, we should wait for at least 1 week before our responses will be attended.
I'm coming to change the school for my little nephew and niece. From here to north, it's very bad.
But when we went on the platform, they were just giving only one school. There wasn't any other schools that you can be worked on. So then you have to come here with the frustration. Look at the people here. You call them and they don't mind you. They don't care.
Deputy National Coordinator for Free SHS, Nana Afrasika Mensah, spoke with ABC News GH on the placement process.
We are here to assist each and everyone. If you've gotten a school and the distance is far and then you want us to change your status for you, why not? You bring your issue and then we will take it. We don't resolve it here. But maybe it's a false information they are getting out there because we can't keep a whole document for 2 weeks and then we've not worked on. Apart from this team working here, we have another team backstage that are working on the issues that will be sent to them. So it won't take more than a week.
Reporting for ABC.
And that report was from my colleague Abinat Mante. Let's do a quick break. We're back with business news. And in business, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has signed into law the Ghana Shippers Authority Act 2024, which was passed by Parliament on July 29, 2024. The legislation formally assented to on October 18, 2024 aims to strengthen the GSA's regulatory mandate, positioning Ghana as a competitive and fair hub for commercial shipping. This new act empowers the Ghana Shippers Authority to regulate operations across all modes of transport, including sea, air, and land. The law introduces more robust sanctions to ensure the long-standing industry issues, particularly litigations and charges and disputes between shippers and service providers. The law, which amends its 50-year-old establishment law, that's the Ghana Shippers Authority Act 1974, will regulate commercial activities of shippers and will primarily address the issues of unfair and excessive charges that burden traders who use Ghana's sea and airport as well as land borders to ply their international trade. The legislation comes at a time coinciding with the GSA's 50th anniversary and reflecting its evolution from the Ghana Shippers Council in 1974 to Ghana's Shippers Authority in 1998 with a broader mandate. Away from business, let's do some sports news. Ghana forward Jerry Afriye was named Best Player of the 2024 WAFU B Under-20 Championship after the Black Satellite finished in second position behind Nigeria in Togo on Wednesday, October 30, 2024. The youngster also won the Golden Boot Award after impressive performance at the sub-regional competition, where he notched 5 goals in 5 matches. The forwards start to guide the Black Satellite all the way to the final, scoring in 4 of the 5 matches to underline his huge influence in the team. His goals were crucial in the Black Satellite's journey to the final, helping to secure their qualification for the 2025 CAF Under-20 African Cup of Nations, where he will be the key player to watch. A 3 years goal scoring feat at the WAFU Zone B Under-20 Championship not only underscores his skills but also marks him as a rising star in African football. We are back with international news. Elon Musk has been ordered to attend a Thursday hearing in a prosecutor's lawsuit to block the billionaire's $1 million a day giveaway to registered swing state voters ahead of the U.S. elections on November 5. The hearing before Judge Angelo Faglotia concerned Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner's bid to halt the giveaway less than a week before the tightly contested U.S. presidential election between Republican former President Donald Trump and Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. Krasner accuses Tesla CEO Musk, a Trump supporter, and his political action committee of hatching an illegal lottery scheme to influence voters. Musk promised to give $1 million a day to randomly selected people who signed a petition pledging support for free speech and gun rights. Signatories were required to be registered voters in one of 7 states that will likely decide the outcome of the November 5 elections: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Musk gave away the first $1 million to an attendee on October 19. Rally also hosted by American PAC in Harrisburg, out in 28th lawsuit also alleges the giveaway amounts to an illegal lottery. Let's do some entertainment news after this. And in entertainment, the Ghana Music Experience streaming platform has been launched in Accra. The streaming platform was created by a group of Ghanaians solely for an exclusive collection of Ghanaian music. The platform, which features every genre from high life to hip life, Afrobeat to traditional rhymes, will help push Ghana's rich musical legacy and contemporary sound. Whether you are discovering up-and-coming musician or enjoying hit songs, GMX provides a smooth music experience. By signing up to the platform, you can also discover carefully chosen playlists to help you enjoy a unique blend of local content that resonates with the heart of Ghana. The launch, which took place at the iconic event center in East Legon, Accra, on Wednesday, October 30, 2024, was attended by dignitaries and stakeholders from the entertainment industry, including Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President and flag bearer of the ruling New Patriotic Party, the Minister for Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture, Andrew Ejapa Mesa, Bessa Simons, the President of Musica, and Mr. Akwesi Ajiman, the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, were also present at the launch. Other notable attendees included rapper EL, Zap Mallet, Samini, Fred Che Mensah, and Kewa. Speaking as the special guest of honor, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia indicated that this is a historic moment for Ghana to develop its own music streaming app and a pleasure to formally launch GMX, Ghana's local music streaming app. And that's all for the bulletin this afternoon on ABC Midday. I am Eric Trinibua Melo. Do out to log on to our website www.abcnewsgh for more news. Thanks for watching.